for us and sort of present it in layman's terms. Two deals, both houses aren't agreeing.
Nope.
What are we talking about here? If this is the framework or is it not the framework of something they can agree to and vote on?
It doesn't sound like either side's really budging. And, Republicans and Democrats and the president, they've been butting heads over this for months. Now we have these two new plans that were unveiled today from each side. Both likely don't have the votes to pass through Congress already. We're getting that word from Washington. So let's start with House Speaker Boehner's plan, since he's about to speak here in just a minute. And this is the plan he unveiled. It's a two-part plan. The first part, Speaker Boehner wants to cut $1.2 trillion. It would also hike the debt ceiling close to $1 trillion for the next year. But as you heard from the president, it does require another vote next year to increase the debt ceiling while making more cuts. And it also means no new taxes. Now, Democratic Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, he's proposing this. It is $2.7 trillion in spending cuts, but you have to consider this: $1 trillion of that would come from the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan ending. We already knew that was going to happen. It also increases the debt ceiling $2 trillion, enough through 2012. Guess when that is? It's right after the election, with no new taxes.
All right, we do want to...
The American people may have voted for divided government, but they didn't vote for a dysfunctional government.
The president took his case directly to the American people in a televised speech from the White House.
But at T-minus 7 days to default, there's still no sign of a breakthrough. Brandi Hitt now joins us live with a look at what's at stake for all of us. Brandi?
Sheriff, for weeks we've been hearing about debt ceilings and default, and you may be wondering, does this even impact me? Well, this issue impacts all of us, and tonight the president took his best to communicate just how serious this situation is.
We would risk sparking a deep economic crisis.
President Obama addressed the nation, calling on Congress to compromise and pass a measure to increase the nation's debt ceiling fast.
We have to do it by next Tuesday, August 2nd, or else we won't be able to pay all of our bills.
If Congress fails to raise the $14.3 trillion debt limit, officials say Washington won't be able to pay all of its bills, meaning the U.S. would default on loans. That could lead to the U.S. losing its coveted AAA credit rating, meaning interest rates would start going up. You'd pay more on mortgages, car loans, and student loans. Markets around the world could also take a hit, impacting your investments. And the president's indicated he can't guarantee Social Security checks would even go out on time. President Obama is still calling for tax hikes along with spending cuts.
How we can ask a senior citizen to pay more for her Medicare before we ask a corporate jet owner or the oil companies to give up tax breaks that other companies don't get.
I know those tax increases will destroy jobs.
Republican House Speaker John Boehner also addressed the nation. His latest debt ceiling proposal only includes cuts and requires another debt ceiling vote next year.
The president has often said we need a balanced approach, which in Washington means we spend more and you pay more.
Washington insiders say Boehner's plan cannot pass the Senate, and a new proposal by Democrat Harry Reid cannot pass the House, which could leave Washington deadlocked once again while the clock is ticking.
Because neither party is blameless for the decisions that led to this problem, both parties have a responsibility to solve it.
The president says if our credit rating is downgraded, it would be the first time it's ever happened in U.S. history. And he wants Americans to call their local congressmen to voice their concerns. Back to you, Micah.
Brandi, thank you. Washington's funding fiasco.